Hey now, everybody. Future Drac here. Just in post-editing, I want to apologize. We had some kind of audio issue going on. Don't know what was happening with my mic. As you can hear now, it is apparently just fine. During the recording of the episode, it decided to not be fine. I fixed it as much as I could in post-editing. I apologize so much. We had a very good episode. It was a very long episode. Did not want to go back and re-record it, so I decided to release it as is. Sorry, it's not our typical audio quality. I will try to figure out exactly what happened and fix it for next episode. So once again, I apologize for the audio quality in this episode. It's not going to be up to our normal standards, and it embarrasses me to put this out, but I wanted to get this released because I thought it was a good episode.
Good day, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at latest news the DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. I've heard some rumors about the Dampier heading into the area.
That's not all, yes. There's some crazy Dampiers running around here all of a sudden.
Right, causing all sorts of weird mist coming along, I am sure.
And there's always mist, but that's fine. We've got somebody apparently ticked somebody off. I'm not sure if it was the Bastani or who, but there is a bunch of heat elementals in this place. It's like 1,000 degrees outside of the castle right now. I have no idea what's going on with that, but whoever did what to whatever, apologize. We've had a rare sighting of some spotted cows that have came across the border. No idea how that happened, but appreciate
spotted cows.
Appreciate when the spotted cows show up. And we've had some moon men that also showed up. It's been crazy here in Barovia this week. Just crazy.
I guess it has. It must be all the shakeup happening because they're saying that the worlds are moving or something like that.
Oh, the worlds are moving. That's right. It is official. The 64-bit worlds are arriving. And they're arriving very quickly as I look at the calendar on the wall here in the castle. That's right, July 9th. The new 64-bit game worlds will arrive. We are going to have 3 new 64-bit servers to go along with Cormier, which is already a 64-bit. In the US, we're going to have Shadowdale and Thrain. So there are your 2 US choices. And then if you're in the EU, you're going to have Moonsea. So there are your choices. And once I said, that's going to go along with Cormier to make 4. So we're going from all the other worlds down to those 4. So pick where you want to go.
It's going to be about flipping a coin or something like that.
It's, I guess you gotta decide where most of your friends going, where your guild's going. If you're in a guild, where's the guild moving? That's really what it boils down to. But they're going to release an official how-to FAQ. They've kind of laid it out already, though. What you're going to do is, if you have characters on any of the 32-bit game worlds, so any of the other, or any existing servers as it is now, so any of the servers other than Cormier, if you have a character on one of those servers, you're going to get your character ready on that server. And they have created a new feature that is called the pack function. You're going to pack up your character and related account data prior to the transfer. So once you run that pack command, you will move your character over to your destinated server when transfers open up. So log into your old game world, pick your character, you're going to log into that world. You're going to use this pack command. You're going to log out. You're going to move your character. Then you're going to log into the new game world, and then you're going to use the unpack command, and then that will restore all of the data that was all packed up into your character, and then you can log out, rinse and repeat for all your other characters.
I must say that when I read that, I went through my list of characters, looked through which ones that were absolutely where I felt it would be easier to just recreate the character from scratch rather than go through the entire mess of packing it, going back, and I'm now left with 10 characters on my server because that's That's all I wanted to move across.
Yeah. I'm kind of have been looking at that too, because I have like a bunch of characters that I created just to like run like lower level stuff with like you or some other people, and I'm like, haven't really built this character up, did anything with this character. I can just recreate this one, but there's like probably about 10 or 12 people that I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm actually gonna have to go do all this. So let's talk about.
Like anyone who's TR'd is going.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely, and like for people. Like, I mean, I only have like one TR, but like definitely for people that have like multiple lives and stuff. Yeah, you are definitely going to want to do the pack command on people like that. So let's talk about what is pack. So when you run that pack command on your origin game world, it is going to pack up for that character your astral shards, your guild information. They do state that most of the guild information does go with the guild leader, but there is some stuff that actually goes with you, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. The creature companion stable, your mount stable, your monster manual information, your shared crafting storage, your platinum vault shared storage, and your account bank shared storage. So all of that is what that pack command does. So that kind of grabs all that information, connects it to that character, so then when you go on the 64-bit world and you unpack it, all that stuff should be there if everything works smoothly, which we all hope it does.
Oh, we certainly hope so.
And then we'll talk about reincarnation cache, but let's talk about guilds. They did state that guilds, like I said, most of the guild things are going to be okay. The only problem with some guilds might lose some of their guild renown, though. It sounds like guild renown is tied to the individual character. So let's say you have a guild of like, I don't know, let's say you're in one of the bigger guilds that have like 100 characters. And if 85 of those people move to like the server your guild decides to go to, and the other remaining characters don't, any guild renown that the characters that do not move servers with you gained for your guild is going to be lost.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure whether it's all going to be lost or if it's going to treat them as if they left the guild, because I know that there's a penalty for guild members who leave. Sounds
unless they have said something that I haven't heard. The last conversations I've heard about it is just going to be lost, because the renown that you earned is kind of tied to your character. So if you have like all of your characters move over and all your guild members move over, you'll be good to go. You're not going to have a problem. So some guilds might lose some levels or whatever, which is, I guess okay, because you can get it back pretty quick. But I guess it's just the way that the database backend works. It's just how the guild renown works, I guess. So yeah.
So what happens to guild renown from deleted characters? Like, I just deleted a dozen characters. I don't know how many of them were members of the guild, but some of them probably were.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. That is a good question. I will make note of that, and I will have to ask Cordovan about that. Or if anybody listening knows, let us know. But I would assume it works the same way. You're gonna lose it, I guess.
This is why I was wondering if it was related to the old thing about people leaving a guild gives you a hit on it, but not 100% hit.
Yeah, you do get, like, if somebody leaves your gear, you do get that little hit for that little while, but that'll be interesting. I'll have to look into that. Good question. So we'll look at, and like I said, if anybody knows, go ahead and leave it in the comment on the YouTube version, or send us an email or comment on the website. Either way, what happens to the reincarnation cache? That is currently going to transfer with your character as well. So when you use the transfer command, the transfer wizard, I should say, sorry, in the game launcher, the reincarnation cache is going to move with that character as well. So nothing you need to do with the reincarnation cache prior to it. So you don't need to do, like, the pat command doesn't do anything with the reincarnation. That's already done automatically.
It's part of your character.
Yeah, as part of your character. So no worries there.
Yeah, it's probably been part of the game a lot longer than these other items, and those other items just never became fully part. Well, because reincarnation is tied very, very specifically to your character, but your companion stable, your mount stable, stuff like that, that's sort of like semi-account stuff, I guess, because...
And that's where the pack command, that's why they had to create, because now correct me if I'm wrong, but in Lotro, you didn't have to do that pack command, correct?
Right. Right. Okay. What happens in Lotro is that you have a concept of, in addition to the characters, you also have the account items. I've got the exact name of the thing, and that's a separate checkbox from the characters. So if you transfer everything, and you're also transferring that item. So thus, you have the shared, I think it's the shared items thing. So if you move the shared items thing, then that stuff goes with it. If you don't move the shared items thing, then it stays then it stays on the old server. So it's going to be on one of them. So therefore, yeah, I think a lot of these items would have been like the mount stable. And there's no such thing as a mount stable in Lotro, but if there was such thing as that, it would probably be under the shared items area.
Okay, it's just the kind of the difference in how the game handles stuff. That's what
it's a difference on how. Now there are a couple of items that aren't there. Things like friends list. I don't know about DDO, but in friends list they said no, that definitely does not transfer over. But that's something that I think people have known about for years and years and years, because transfers have been a lot more common in Lotro, I think, than in DDO.
Yeah. So there are certain things that are not going to be transferred, either through just the regular transfer process or when you do the pack function. The auction listings, your bids, your winnings, deposits of platinum are astral shards. So they do note that you should make sure to conclude all of your auctions and claim all of your items prior to running the transfer pack command or using the transfer interface. In the future, they are going to announce when the auction houses on the 32-bit game worlds will be closing. So get your auctions taken care of, get all that stuff. Your mail is also not going to transfer over. So if you're one of those people that are using mail as storage, you're gonna want to get that stuff out of your mailbox.
Yeah, I was wondering if people did that in DDO also.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Your guild rank, other than the guild leader, that we kind of already talked about that one. We're going to talk about guild leaders here in a second. And then your daily dice free roll status. So technically, what you could do, you could kind of game the system here, I think, with that. You could do a free roll, like save your gold roll for like the day you're going to transfer over. Log into the world that you're moving off of, do your silver and your gold roll, then do your pack command, then move your character over, and then log into your new 64-bit world, unpack your stuff, and then technically you could do your roll again because your status is not going to move over.
Right, so, because you're on a new world,
right?
And
so technically, you could get two gold rolls in one day if you would want to.
Right,
just a little, why not? Guild leaders. What should you do if you are a guild leader? It is going to be your job to get the guild up and running on its new home. Once you run the pack function on your guild leader character, most of that guild information is going to be bundled and tied into your character, and you will bring it over to your destination world. This will include things like your guild's level. Your guild member contributions and astral shards are platinum, and then once you unpack on your new world, your guild and its information will populate onto the new world. Caveat being, certain things are not going to be transferred. Guild chest contents. It is extremely important that all of your guild chests that have any items are removed from those guild chests. If your guild wishes to save them prior to your guild leader running that over, because that stuff will not transfer. So remember that.
Okay, and actually, does our guild actually use the guild chest?
We are not high enough level yet.
Okay, you have to be a certain level to have a guild chest.
Yep,
okay.
We do not have one yet. We will once we get there, but, it's just taking a little while.
Once we get there?
Once we get to that level, we will have a guild chest.
Once we get to that level,
okay. Yeah. Guild airship amenity layouts. You're going to need to replace all of your amenities. You're still going to have the amenities that you have, but you're just going to have to replace them where you would like them. That's not going to transfer over, which that's no big deal. The guild airship name also is not going to, so you'll have to rename your ship, which is weird. I don't quite understand why the name is not transferring over. I thought that one was weird. And then,
I think it's equivalent to how in Lotro housing would not be transferred. Now, housing is a lot more complicated in Lotro than it is in DDO. But so I have a feeling that it's just something that's tied onto the server and stuff like this, and it's unrelated to what you have there. So my guess is that you'll have a credit token for buying a guild ship, or it might automatically buy when you get over, or something like that.
It sounds like it's automatically just like once your guild member or your guild leader moves over, it sounds like it's just magically going to do that. And okay, so boom, you'll have the shit. Everything's going to just repopulate. Other than, you're going to have to rename it, and then the guild leader's going to have to replace the amenities. But that's what it sounds like to me. Again, if I misunderstood that, feel free to comment or send in an email.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That everything about the guild ship is pretty much that all they're going to transfer over and pack away is a tag saying you have this type of ship or something like that.
Yeah, and then if you're just a guild member, what do? If you're a member of a guild and your membership and your guild renowned, once again, as we said, are going to be kind of bundled in with your character when you use that pack function. So once your guild leader has established your guild on the new destination world, so your guild leader has moved over, he's unpacked on the new world, all of that, once that happens, then you can use your unpack function to restore your renown and your place in the guild. So make sure your guild leader says, hey, all right, everybody, you're good to go. I've got it set up. Guild's ready. So once that happens, everybody then can move and then can unpack. And then that's when any players that have earned guild renown for the guild, it will add that in and everything should be fine. And that's what I said. That's where it comes in. If you have some characters that are some people in your guild that's like, hey, I'm going to move to a different server, I'm not going to move to the server, that's when you're going to lose whatever guild renown that particular character has earned. Or if you have character, it's not necessarily, it could even be too, like if you have characters and let's say one of your characters you're going to move to a different server, that character's guild renown, if it earned any, is just not going to count for your guild. You're still an active player, but you're just on a different server now. So so you're
not part of the guild anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly. So keep that in mind. Then they do.
And on the Lotro side, when it came to kinships, it was something similar in what happened on there, because this weekend I actually went through the process of transferring a guild leader over to another server. So what I had to do is essentially decide, all right, we're moving. We're moving. Originally, we're planning on staying put, but when they decided that they are actually going to close the 32-bit worlds, it was like, okay, we better get going. So I basically, as I transferred my character over, the idea there is you want the guild leader to transfer first and to log onto the guild leader first, because I don't know about in DDO, but in Lotro, if you log in before the guild leader, you're going to log in, it's going to look for your guild, and it's not going to be there because the guild leader hasn't logged in yet.
Right.
And it's going to say, okay, you must not be in this guild anymore, and you lose connection with the guild.
Okay, yep. So make sure your guild leader moves first. So
make sure the guild leader moves on, and that the guild leader logs in first.
Yeah, and then as we said, your guild leader is going to have to log in and do the unpack, because the unpack command is what actually is going to set the guild back up.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's a step we didn't have to do in Lotro because
you didn't have the pack and
we didn't have to worry about the pack because there were fewer things that are semi-independent of the character, and those things have already typed to the character, which is probably one of the sources of lag on the Lotro side. So.
Right. Then they did answer a couple questions. Can I add to my pack? No, you cannot. So once you pack your character, that is it. So you can run your pack on a different character, which is fine. You just can't Like, so let's say, for example, you pack a character, but you don't transfer it right away. Maybe you decide to run a quest or something, and you get like an awesome Ubered piece of gear. Yeah, you're not going to have that because you can't repack your character. So once you pack your character, just move, and then rinse and repeat for your characters. That's the easiest advice I can say. Just pack it, move it, unpack it, rinse and repeat, move on until you're done. Oh, go ahead.
In theory, you could pack more than one character. Pack character, and move those together. Yes. The tricky thing is if you did that with all of your characters, and the transfers took some time, because on the Lotro side, even though they originally estimated, we think it could take a couple of hours. Even though it normally takes a couple of seconds, it may take a couple of hours because of the number that be going on there. They eventually found out that due to the volume, it actually, instead of being 4 hours at peak, it was 4 days at peak.
Yeah.
And
hoping we won't have that problem, but we'll see.
We hope we don't have that problem, right. But the idea there is, and don't pack all of your characters maybe leave 1 or 2 of them there available for play, unless you have another game you'd rather that you'd be playing in the meantime.
Right. And I say this in the nicest of ways when I state this, so please nobody come after me when I say this. But I don't think we'll have quite the amount of lag time, for lack of a better way to put it, in character transfers, because there's not as many people that play DDO as that plays Lotro. So I think we're, it might be a couple hours, maybe. I'm hoping at the most. I don't think it's going to be days, because I'm pretty sure Lotro's population is a lot bigger than DDO.
Well, I think I estimate that there were about 2 million characters transferred during the process on the Lotro side.
Yeah. So
but no, that was about half the population or something. Moved over or something like this. But I'd say because I know about halfway through it, they said they hit the 1 million mark. So
that's kind of amazing, actually. And that's characters. That's not
that was characters. Not so some players, of course, have multiple characters.
30, 40, 50 characters per one person, but still.
But anyway,
which could happen here as well, because if you think about, like, if you have, like, and I'm going to use air quotes, active characters that you play. I mean, even it could be on multiple servers. You could have characters on multiple servers you're going to play. It could, in theory, people could have 50 or 60 characters they're going to be moving just for one player.
Right. Assuming that they don't do saying like, okay, this character I played once.
Right. And that's switch. I got to look at a new one. Yeah, I got to look through mine, but yeah, I'm going to end up moving quite a few, I think. Then, if your character or your guild is already present on the destination world, you will receive a -1, -2, -3, so on and so forth. Adjustment to your name. If you experience a character rename, you're going to get a free token to do that. So just log into the character, type in change name, and then whatever name that you want to change it to. That's just in the rare occurrence somebody already has your name, which that better not happen. I'm going to be mad if somebody takes Draculetta. Gonna be mad. Don't do it, people. Don't do it.
Well, there's also a thing is if someone does it and they could tell based on the history of the characters that someone did it for trolling purposes, customer servers will intervene. Now, if there happens to be someone called Draculetta on another server that transferred to the same server you did, then it's all right. That character has existed for 5 years, so
I'm looking at you, Draculetta on Orion, which is not me. I'm looking squarely at you,
right,
sir, madam, whichever the case may be. Yeah, you are going to be the problem.
You better hope that they transfer to a different server.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the only world I could not get Draculetta on. Never could figure that out.
Oh, I mean, there is one world where you could not get that name. Okay. So
Orion or Orion, Orion, however you want to say it. Yes, that's I actually got. So if you see a Dracula, well, I mean, the 32, it's going to be a moot point at this point. But if you see a Draculetta on any of the other worlds other than Orion, Orion, whatever, that one is not me. All the other Draculettas are actually me. That's the only one that I couldn't get. The same thing's going to happen with guilds. If your guild happens to, that guild name is taken, your guild leader can get a free rename. So 32-bit game worlds, the old worlds, what's going to happen to them? Can we still play on them? No, you cannot. They are closing. They're going bye-bye.
Yes, and I mean, in fact, on the Lotro side, when they were giving the announcement, the number of times they announced that date in the article was just ridiculous. It was so much so that their character form, it became the title of one of our podcasts.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Because, so that date for us is August 31st. That is when the game worlds are going to go dark. That means you'll not be able to log into them anymore.
Yes, and I have a feeling that this has something to do with the data center involved, meaning there is absolutely nothing that Stone Games can do about it.
I kind of have that feeling too.
Is like, there's essentially they were said, no, we will not renew any contracts past August 31st, 2025.
I think too that this part was, I don't think their plan was to close these worlds like this quickly.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure their hands were tied with all of this, and they're like, well, I guess they're closing, so let's open all these 64-bit worlds up.
Especially when you consider that they have the exact same deadline as Lotro does.
Yeah.
And on Lotro, it was originally announced to be a soft deadline, meaning that some of the worlds were likely closed, but some of them will also be remaining open of the old 32-bit worlds, the ones that are most busy and stuff like this. But it suddenly turned into a very, very hard deadline.
So,
Yeah. And Stone Games was not prepared for it because I think that they were originally planning on them starting probably, not to have, I was thinking until the end of the year was when they were going to have the deadline for the DDO side.
Yeah, I do think, too, this is beyond their control. So after all of this, they are additionally going to offer a limited time, which they will announce when this open and when it's going to close, that you can move from 64-bit to 64-bit. So let's say you, for some reason, are not a good talker with your friends and your guildmates and all that, and you moved over to a different server, and everybody else you play with moved to a different server, and then you're stuck. You're like, what am I going to do? You'll be able to move 64-bit to 64-bit. And they did state that this is also going to, when this period opens up, that means you can move from Cormyr as well, and then you're also going to be able to actually move over to Moonsea. So if you want to move a character over to the EU server, you'll be able to do that once this timing window opens up.
Yeah, that's a big difference from the Lotro side, where it's impossible to move between.
Unless
you can oversee ones.
Yeah, and this is and then again, somebody in the comments or email us, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time too that it's possible to transfer from US to EU. I don't think that was possible before, but like I said...
Was there a distinction with EU servers on the DDO side?
Yes. Remember way back in the day, I don't remember the server name, there was actually an EU server for a long time. It's back when Codemasters was still actually running the EU.
Okay. So Codemaster, so there were Codemaster servers then.
I think I'm right about, like I said, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure there were because Codemasters did DDO and Lotro both, I think.
Yeah, because the thing on the Lotro side is that Codemasters violated one of the specs on the Lotro side, which made it impossible for the free to move characters to and from those servers. Like I said,
somebody comment and let me know. I'm almost positive on that, but I might have misspoke, but if I did, I will correct it in a future
episode. I would have thought that if there were Codemaster servers, then they would have had to have language support, but they don't.
The forums, the old forums, so forums-old.ddo.com, which are still up. You can still get to them if you want to see the old forums. They are gonna be sunset as well. So any information you have on there that you want to get off of there, go ahead and do that now. Once again, you have till August 31st, 2025 to do that as well. Once again, I don't think that was the plan, because they even said their plan was to keep those up and running for several years. But
But it has been several years now.
yeah, well, they had planned on keeping them up for longer.
Okay, for more several years.
Again, I think it's not under their control. I have a feeling. So yeah, so just anything on the old forums, if you haven't moved it yet, you want it, get it, grab it, because they're gone. And there you go, 64-bit world. Yay.
Yeah, this is going to be a tumultuous, fun time, especially considering that it started in several months earlier on the Lotro side. So it looks like we're going to have something like 2 months in order to get all of this done.
Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. But this brings up an exciting opportunity now, though, since there's only going to be so many servers for people to go to. You're going to be able to like play with different people now, because you're going to have people from different servers that maybe you never roll the character up on that server and you've always wanted to play with them. You'll have that opportunity if you move to the right server now. So it's a scary time, but it's also a exciting time in that aspect. So we will see. And then it'll be curious to see where the bulk of people move to, like which server is...
there's always one server that seems to get half the people.
So we'll see which server is going to be the quote-unquote popular server. It will be interesting to see. So very soon we will all have all the fun of packing and unpacking and moving and hopefully things not breaking, and we'll see.
Maybe I'll wait a couple of weeks to see which one is the popular server and move to the other.
There you go.
Because you can imagine the lag that will be on the most popular server.
Maybe? I mean, 64-bit's supposed to help with that, so we'll see.
Well, it helps with that, but on the Lotro side, there's one Orcrist, that server very quickly became so populated, the server was turning unplayable, so they had to do a number of things there, and essentially they're trying, when they opened up transfers between 64-bit worlds, they were encouraging people to, let's say, the excess population to find new homes, maybe, if you want to not have to worry about queues every time you logged in.
Right. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But of course, but I know that there's some people who want to play on the busiest server because they want to have the wider range of population which to draw for running raids and running large scale combat, stuff like this. If you mostly do small scale runs, if you're doing solo or small group stuff, and mostly within your guild, then might be suggest for the guild to find maybe one of the less busy servers to go to because then performance might be more important than having number of people to draw out of.
Exactly.
All right, and that is it for the whole thing about the transfers. Yes, that's right. Transfers are now arriving on July 9th, and yes, there is too little time being given for it, but apparently I suspect that at the end of May, Standing Stone Games received their 3-month notice on the contract not being renewed is my best guess as to what happened. What?
Yeah, I said surprise.
Surprise! Here's your 3 months notice.
Yeah.
And then Standing Stone Games had to very quickly write all this up so they could post their announcement get it up there. And of course, the first thing that came is, you're not giving us enough information. Can you give us deep enough information? It says, oh, well, the problem is they weren't expecting this announcement to be that week.
We were working on it, but we weren't quite ready.
But they had to tell, they basically told us they wanted to get the news out as soon as they had enough information on what their basic plan was. And there's some details that are not yet worked out. Because I have a feeling they're still working on details of that pack command that they need to be hashed out before they give the full process. Now, the other fun bit of news that we had recently is the new DDO expansion, Chill of Ravenloft. The pre-orders are now up so that you can head back into... Actually, in a way, this isn't exactly back to Ravenloft from the point of view of your character. Well, it might be if you're in the... in the epic levels or something like this, but if you are in the lower levels and had a new character in there, you'd be running the new content before the old Ravenloft.
True. It's Ravenloft, but it's Lemuria, so it's a different part of Ravenloft. That's right, we're going into Lemuria. It's a land forever bound by ice and shrouded in darkness. You're going to have bleak alleys, derelict factories, grotesque laboratories, and sinister secrets. are festering just beneath the surface. Mysterious disappearances, grisly murders, and a ghastly experiment gone awry. You're going to confront the scientific horrors created by the brilliant but terrifying Dr. Vectra Morheim. Perhaps your courage will unravel the curse that is gripping Lamortia. If you live long enough, that is, to see the truth.
If you live long enough.
So, yeah, there you go. This, of course, is bringing us the Dampier. We've kind of talked about what's coming. Some new dungeons. Going to be that mystery that's all wrapped in. Like, why is Lamortia trapped in an eternal winter? What's going on? Your pre-order is up now. They just say the expansion will be available August 2025, with the asterisk being in the event of a delay, you will receive the expansion content no later than September 5th, 2025. August, expansion should be up and running live on the servers. If not, September 5th. They promise it will be up on the servers.
Oh, okay. That's during the week after the end of the transfer period.
Yeah. Just in case something goes wrong, they'll be like, maybe we'll wait until September for this, but we'll see. I'm sure they have plans in place for all of this. So yeah, the Chill of Ravenloft, the expansion pre-purchase is now. If you've been around for a while, none of this is going to surprise you. 3 editions, Ultimate Fan Bundle, Collector's Edition, Standard Edition. Pricing, very similar to all the other ones. The standards, $39.99, $79.99 for the collectors, and $129.99 for the Ultimate Fan Bundle. This is what pricing has been the past couple expansions, so once again, nobody should be too surprised at any of this. Standard Edition, going to get you the Chill of Ravenloft content and the Dampier character race. So that's your 2 items. So you're going to get all the dungeons, all of the content for the expansion, and the Dampier. Then Collector's Edition, you'll get Dampier and Chill of Ravenloft. Then you'll get the Mistwalker movement style, the Mad Experimenter's cosmetic set, Mad Experimenter's flesh golem steed, the Brain in a Jar pet, a level 8 hireling, the mysterious alchemist Drossart, plus 10 shared account bank storage, and plus 1 character slot, and then a Potion of Loot Ransack Reset. Say that several times. You'll get one of those, and that is account bound.
Right, that's well, ransack reset. That doesn't help me too much considering how old.
Yeah, no, you don't ever like. I ransack stuff a lot. It depends if I'm trying to get something, but
yeah, because you're trying to. So if I'm ever really, really out to get one specific item,
see, there you go. You just
then I may have to
may have to resort to using this.
Then I may have to resort to using that thing. But until then, it's on my. Now, what I find interesting here is that, from what I understand, this is the first time that DDO has ever had a movement style.
Yes, it is. Yes, we have not ever had this. So
yeah, that was something that was introduced to Lotra about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So about the same time as those support packs started coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the very, very first support pack on the Lotro side included movement style, and ever since that time, there's been just about always a movement style with any expansion or support pack that's come out since then.
Gotcha. I knew they had them, but I didn't know how long they have had them for. So then your Ultimate Fan Bundle is going to include everything we just talked about, plus the you're going to get 2 more of the Loot Ransack Reset potions, so you're going to get a total of 3. That's if you buy the Ultimate Fan Bundle, so you'll get 3 of those.
All to the same character?
They're account bound, so you can move them if you want.
Oh, well, yeah, but if you're on different servers, that's the sort of the. Oh, right. Actually, I think when you talk to the guy though, you you could ask for something from the Ultimate Bundle or from the Collector's Bundle.
Yeah, you can. So you should, in theory, be able to, like, if you would happen to be on a different server, you should, in theory, be able to get one, I think, if you've only gotten one or two of them and you still have one left. I assume that's how that would work. That's actually a good thing to try out. Then you get 20 character bank storage slots. You'll get the Dampier Dark Bargainer Iconic Hero. You'll get the Dark Bargainer Cosmetic Outfit that will only work on the Iconic character. You cannot use that outfit on the regular Dampier or any other character, which is kind of weird. They've never done that before, but okay. You get the level 34 version of the Hireling, the Dark Resurrectioners, that's a very big word, cosmetic set, the Resurrectioner Stone Lion Mount, the Grimshaka cosmetic pet, a +1 Tome of Universal Enhancement for every character, and you get a Teleport Trinket to Lemordia. So that's just like every other expansion. You always get the Teleport Trinket, and that's usually in the Ultimate Bundle. So once again, none of this is really new. Anybody that's been around for a little while, this is pretty much standard procedure at this point. So 129, 79, or 39. Pick your poison for the Chill of Ravenloft expansion packs to pre-order right now.
All right. And I noticed that you posted an FAQ on this. So any highlights on what's that contain?
Let's take a look. And I will point out too, we will have a video up as soon as I have some time of showing off all the pre-order stuff. I just haven't had time to do it yet. We'll have a video. I usually have it up by now, but yeah, life. So yeah, the Chill of Ravenloft FAQ. Let's see. Is it going to be in the store? Yes, it will be in the store. January 2026. So save your DDO points. 2,995 points will be the cost of the pack. If you want the Dampier, it will be 1,595 points. The Dark Bargainer will be 1,395 points. The character race bundle, so if you want the Dampier and the Dampier Dark Bargainer both, you could save a little bit of money, buy the bundle for 2,499 points. You can get the Universal Enhancement Lemordia version for 2,995 points, and the Wish of Dampier Memories, 995 points. Once again, January 2026. All that will be available in the store. Then Vampire, keep in mind, is free to VIPs. The Dark Bargainer is not free to VIP, so keep that in mind. If you want to play the Iconic, you are going to have to pre-order the expansion or wait until it's in the store. The VIPs will not get that free, which is pretty much standard. Most of the time, Iconics are not given away to VIPs for free. That is something you gotta usually buy an expansion to get. Are the character slots that are included in my expansion purchase available on every game world? Yes, they will. They will increase your total number of slots on the game worlds per a game world basis.
Yeah, they would have to do it that way, especially considering that people are about to be jumping all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be very bad if it wouldn't be. The character bank space in the Ultimate Edition, is that available to only one character? Yes. So you make sure that you claim that benefit on the character and the game world you wish to apply that character bank space to. So choose wisely there.
Yeah. How does bank space operate in relation to TRs? That's always been one that's confused me.
It goes over with you.
Okay.
So, like, if you had purchased more bank space in the store, you get it free with an expansion. Whatever character that claimed that or bought it, it's tied to that character. So once you TR, your character will still have it. It's all tied together.
Okay.
Then how many quests are we going to get in the new expansion, Chill of Ravenloft? There will be 13 new quests.
13 quests, which is comparable because I think I remember there being 12, I think, in Amidst of Ravenloft. that missed one where you get lost, where you find your way to Barovia.
Right. That was 12. And then 2 raids. So I was pretty sure that's what it was. So yeah. And that's pretty much it. Looks like everything else is pretty much standard. If you misplace your cosmetics, you can talk to the NPC just like you always can in the Hall of Heroes, and he'll give you all your stuff. And then once again, your mounts and your companions are automatically added, so you don't have to talk to anybody to get that. Level ranges, it's going to be CR 8 on Heroic and CR 36 Legendary, so that's pretty much standard.
All 13 of them?
They say in the fact.
That sounds... That's...
I mean, they didn't break it down, so if any is going to be higher than 8, but it just says these quests will be CR 8.
Well, I mean, I have a feel, sounds like to me you're going to out-level the quest very, very quickly.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. And a poor temple of elemental evil and slave lords.
Yep. And then the Mistwalker movement style, what the heck is that and how do I use it? It is a cosmetic movement style modifier that changes how your character moves their body when they're out of combat, such as when they're walking, running, jumping, swimming, or standing idle. This is the first movement style. It's available only in the Collector's Edition or the Ultimate Edition. Movement styles are added to your character's feat list and can be activated by dragging the feet to your hotbar, and then you tag it on or off. Just keep in mind, doing combat or game mechanics related to activities like casting spells, swinging weapons, disarming traps, etc., the movement style will temporarily suppress even though it's on, then it will resume afterwards. You can turn that on and off once again just by toggling it. I cannot talk today. So like I said, you had them in Lotro for a while. This is the first time
we had them in Lotro. Yeah, in Lotro we not only have movement styles, we also have teleport styles.
Oh, okay.
And but those are completely separate items in here. In fact, when they had them, it looked like that some of those supporter packs included a teleport style, some included a movement style, some included both of them.
Maybe
so it could be, but it's like in DDO teleporting I think is a lot less common. I know that's strange to say about DDO considering that lore wise teleporting is better supported than DDO,
right.
But since you have a much more landscape movement from place to place in Lotro, since in DDO everything is instanced in there, well in Lotro you have a great deal that's on the landscape, and so fast travel all over the place is much more important in such a game.
Then the only other thing is, what the heck is this potion of loot ransack, and how do I use that?
And how do I get more?
Exactly, and how do I get more? Because I'm going to ransack stuff. These potions allow you to reset the ransack count and timer for chests on a character. Drink that potion prior to opening the chest, and the chest will reset to the beginning of the ransack timer. The potion can be consumed in either a public area or inside of the dungeon itself. Each potion resets the ransack for all chests for one character. So keep that in mind. Choose that wisely. You only get 1 or 3, depending on which version that you buy. So there we go. So exciting. Lots of stuff happening. So yeah, can't wait to get into the chill of Ravenloft.
I'm sure you are going to be all ready for this week, because I know that you already put out a video for the Dampier. It was back when it was on Lamania.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited that Dampier is here already, because we had an update. We had update 74, came out Wednesday, June 18th, so not too long ago. The big thing in this is it introduced the pre-orders, introduced the Dampier, so you can now play the Dampier. Yay! We're not really go over because we talked about them when it was on Lamania already. We talked about them, so you can read the show notes. You get the full strength of it. We'll just do some of the highlights. +2 strength. You don't need to breathe while underwater, so you basically have free underwater action, because it makes sense. They get the feat Vampiric Bite. It's a single target action. You bite a target creature at touch range. You deal 1d4 piercing damage per character level. It scales with 200% melee or range power, though this is not a weapon attack. and cannot critically hit. If that creature is a living and corporeal creature, you'll heal yourself for 20 plus total character level times Constitution modifier of hit points from positive energy. Has a 15-second cooldown. So you're basically biting the person to get blood to heal yourself, which makes sense because you're a half vampire.
Yeah. So this then says that you want to, if you're playing a Vampire, you want a good Constitution on top of that strength.
Yes. Yep. There's plenty. I got to think about how I'm going to build a Vampire because I have several options and ideas.
Yes, and yeah, when I look at this, I say I have no trouble knowing the options for races that've been in the game since the beginning of it. I don't know a single race's full tree. I rarely tap from the racial tree. I'm usually drawing from the class tree.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think my monk, I'm drawing some from the Tabaxi line, but I have some characters where I've put only the single racial only point is the only point that I've put into the tree. I have characters, that's all I've done relating to the tree.
Interesting.
So I take it from doing that you usually invest heavily into your racial trees.
Yeah, it depends on which race I'm doing, but yeah, because there's some good stuff you get out of the racial tree. Yeah, I splash into there and then I go into the other trees, but it depends which character it is. Then also, of course, the iconic hero is here as well, so you can make the Dark Bargainer Dampier. They start with 1 level of Warlock. It's +1 Intelligence, +1 Charisma. I have not looked at the Dark Bargainer at all, so I need to do that as well. Then let's see if there's any other exciting things that happen. They fixed a display issue within the junction of spears that could cause the space to look bright pink. Okay, I never noticed that happening, but okay. The Black Abbot's Shadow Guild amenity now displays itself correctly as level 33 in the guild UI elements. Harpies enemies will now correctly use the correct fast flight animation in combat if they've been configured to be flying while they patrol. Long wait times for getting the bosses in the Oath of Vengeance to come down to the ground. It should be greatly reduced. Okay. Double Rainbow will no longer make bats, which is an interesting bug, but okay. Nothing else. There's a couple known issues that you'll want to keep track of. Once again, you can go to the show notes, get the full release notes if you'd like to read all about these. The Dampier Dark Bargainer is missing several visual effects for its abilities. That will be fixed in an upcoming patch. The +1 Universal Action Point Tome that you get when you pre-purchase the expansion is not properly applying. Once again, that is going to be fixed in a game update. Sounds like it's not stacking correctly with any other +1 universal, so that's a big oopsie. They are working on that. And facial features for the Wood Elf characters is currently not displaying. That will be fixed in an upcoming patch as well. So there you go. There's a quick look at our Update 74 release notes.
Yeah. What caught my eye here is the quest of Claw of Volcor, where Iona and her warriors will properly hide in your bag now. I mean, that's...
Oh, I didn't even see that. Thank God. Those stupid things won't wander around anymore. I didn't even see that in the quest notes. Well, thank God. Yeah, that quest was annoying because it's like, where did she go? Where is she at? What are you doing? Come back here.
Come back here, please.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what's this thing about the bottle of mist?
People have been asking forever and a day, when are we going to get the bottle of mist in the store? People want to be able to buy the bottle of mist because it only came in the expansion.
Okay.
You could only get the bottle of the mist from the expansion, and people wanted it to be in the store. And they have long said they are trying to get it in the store, but that's all they said. They're working on getting it available in the store. Finally this week, one of the devs stepped up and said, this was from Celestia Bloodsong, stepped up and said, I'll probably surprise some folks in this thread, considering some of the thoughts stated in the thread. Not gonna dance around this. This is something that has been on my desk, and I know this one is a long standing request. There's one known, very annoying technical issue with this regarding how the teleporter item, has to be sent out through the game. And that issue is a blocker due to doing a revised version of it. But it's in the schedule, and if we have success, you'll probably be hearing more about this in the future.
I'm trying to think, what? Because if this is specific to this one teleporter item, does
it
that
sounds
mean that
like it is. That's the one that people have wanted, and that's the one that they said they're trying to get it in the store, but there's an issue. And they didn't really say what it was, but apparently it's how it's delivered in game. I don't know what it is, but it's only the Bottle of Mist, it seems like. Or that's the only one that they ever talk about and they say that there's a problem with.
But it could be that some others also have a problem, but no one else cares about the others.
Like, just for some reason, everybody wants the Bottle of Mist, which
I know. So
it's cool.
The one thing about the Bottle of Mist is whatever in my inventory, I glance over it while trying to look for it because it looks too much like a potion.
Looks like a
bottle.
potion. It does. I finally have put mine on one of my hot bars, and that way I know where it is, because I always do that too. If it's in my inventory, it takes me forever to find it, because I'm like, I know it's in here. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Yeah, I just put it on a hot bar and called it good.
Oh, okay. I guess that's makes sense.
So that way I can never lose it. But yeah, because that's the only. I mean, for obvious reasons, that's the only teleporter item that I use is the Bottle of Mist. Makes
right.
sense.
Okay.
So there you go. Soon trademark, I guess.
Soon trademark. Yeah, that's the problem with that. You don't know exactly when it will really be.
Yeah.
Well, then, let's see. Anything useful on sale in the stores?
Well, summer sales are here. That's always fun. This week's special, you get 35% off Wish for Memories. Shared bank upgrades are at 50% off. And enhancement trees are 75% off. That is running through June the 26th. And then the regular sale is the Build for Success. 30% off Heroic and Epic Learning Tomes. Action Point Tomes, enhancement trees, 30% off once again through the 26th as well. Free coupon code this week is a Potion of Superior Efficacy. That's a hard word. 5 of those.
Efficacy.
Yeah, there you go. Times 5 of those. Coupon code is Power215. POWERTO15. Also, shockingly, through June 26th.
What a coincidence.
Indeed. Amazing how that works out.
It's almost like they planned it.
I think they might have.
Well, I think that is it for DDO news, or did I miss something?
Nope, that's it. That was a long section of the show this time. Usually our DDO news, sometimes it's about 30 minutes or so. We went a long time with because there was a lot of stuff to talk about. Like, normally they just drop a little bit of news, but like this week it was like, and this, and this, and that, and then here's some other news, and here's some other stuff, and I'm like, holy cow.
All right, then let's head on and see what's coming in from the dungeon. Where we ask you to embrace the inevitable faster. Purple Worm, Everybody Dies, Volume 1 is here. What is Purple Worm?
It is
other than a monster in D&D.
It is a book designed to kill your players. The whole purpose of the book is to kill players. So
to kill players.
I love it.
Sounds like your style.
It is. It is totally my style. Yes, this is a book of adventures. 15 one-shot dungeons and some Tales of Dragons that are designed to kill your characters. They are designed for first-level characters, and it's stuff that they shouldn't be fighting and shouldn't be doing, but they're doing it anyway.
Okay, so therefore, and that's why they're doing it. So 15, I know they have to one-shot dungeons because because the campaign's not going to be very long.
Yeah. It's this is based off of we have talked about it in the past. There was a streaming show that was on. Actually, it was on TB2. It was on that network that Wizards and Hasbro created that was streaming only, and then it went away. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, it's based on the Faster Purple Worm Kill show, which was it's just like this book. They would design level 1 characters, and then you would face like a purple worm, or you would face like a level 30 dragon or something like that. It's basically just designed to kill your players and just to have hilarity as your party tries to figure out, why are we fighting this monster that is like 40 levels higher than us? Because I said so, that's why.
I know. For some reason, it was reminding me back in my WoW days where they would have these things called Hogger raids, where there was you take a bunch of level 1 characters, freshly created characters, and they go to a camp which has a level 5 elite boss there. So it's the first elite character that you can find in the game, and you create a full raid, and you have this raid of level 1 characters attacking this level 5 one in there. And so essentially you do it for hilarity. And I think that
what this is too. It's same,
right. And the thing about it is that because you've got 20 of them in there, and because not everyone gets killed at once, is that when one group dies, another part of the group gets back from the red circle and all this stuff. So, nice. So as a result, the characters do eventually win, and that there is this unique drop that can only drop from Hogger if he's killed by a level 1 character.
Oh, okay. Nice. This is a 170-page hardcover book. MSRP on it's $45.
Yeah.
Once again, 15 one-shot adventures, also available on drive-thru as a PDF.
All right. So, and I'm sure you're going to have fun with that one.
I plan on it.
Yes. Okay. Then, shifting tides in tabletop RPGs, key figures from the D&D movie to Daggerheart and Amidst Wizards of the Coast Layoffs. What's it? Okay. Yeah. What exactly is happening here?
This is interesting, to say the least. We posted on the site not too long ago about Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins retiring from Hasbro Wizards. They retired and said, they don't know what they're going to do. Well, apparently, I think they kind of did. They are now working for Darrington Press, which, of course, is the publishing arm of Critical Role. So they're working on Daggerheart, which is the competitor to D&D. Daggerheart is a new RPG that Critical Role just put out maybe about a month ago.
Oh, okay. That's why I hadn't heard of it yet. Okay.
So it's pretty new. So in the press release, Darrington Press said that Crawford and Perkins will be, quote, focused on developing new game concepts, initiative, I cannot talk today, mechanics, and future iterations, including upcoming expansions involving the entire slate of Darrington Press products. This is kind of interesting. They left Hasbro Wizards and went over to the competition, basically.
So they didn't it sounds like to me then they didn't like the changes done to 5th edition when the 2024 version came out?
Nobody liked the changes they made. Nobody.
Okay.
That is nobody. This is kind of in the midst of a bunch of other, and I posted about it on the site. If you've been looking at the site, D&D has been laying quite a few people off, and some other people have just left on their own.
Okay, so it sounds like to me then that this is a case of somebody made some very bad decisions.
That would be Hasbro. Hasbro made all of the bad decisions, and it's still making bad decisions. But yeah, so we'll see. This is like interesting that they basically went to the competition and they're like, okay, let's see what we can do over here. Let's see how it plays out.
See how it plays out. We'll have now. What's the 1,000-foot view of what Daggerheart is like?
I have glanced over it. I haven't really dug deep into it. It's getting mixed reviews from what I've read, and I watched a couple YouTube videos on it. Once again, it's getting mixed reviews. I don't know. I'm gonna do a full review on it once I did buy it. I didn't get it sent to us or anything, so it's a purchased product, so keep that in mind. But like I said, I've glanced over it. Interesting. I like some of the stuff they're doing. I scratch my head at a lot of the things they're doing. So it's interesting. They're kind of trying to grab people that are disillusioned with D&D right now, which is a lot of people because of the 2024 D&D 5.5 D&D next D&D whatever the heck Hasbro Watsy's calling it at this time version. A lot of people are not happy with that, so people are looking for other things. I would suggest you look at Shadow Dark, but that's just me. Yeah. So we'll see what Daggerheart does. I tried to get into some games at Gen Con. They sold out like almost instantly. So I'm hoping some people drop out of some of those so I can check it out. I would actually like to play it to get a better feel of it. And so far, all those events are still sold out for Daggerheart. So,
okay.
But yeah, full review coming at some point. I need to dig into it a little more.
Right. And that concludes our section on what's coming in from the dungeon. So let's see what's on the tabletop. Where Tabletop Tycoon expands portfolio from acquisition of cool many or not CMON, I guess is what they like to call themselves these days.
Yeah.
Mariposa and Road to Infamy titles.
Yeah, the biggest thing out of this is they did acquire some other like they acquired Canvas and they acquired Trailblazer from Mariposa, which is, I mean, well and good because those are like good games. The big thing out of this is what they got from CMON. They got Blood Rage, Rising Sun, Ankh, The Gods of Egypt, Arcadia Quest, and Starcadia Quest from CMON, which that was the people that raised the eyebrow of a lot of people when they were like, CMON started to sell off some of their games. More on that in a minute.
Yes, I guess I see this next article.
Big spoiler alert in a minute. But yeah, so it's interesting to see how this is going to play out and what Tabletop Tycoon is going to do with this. They've been on a little bit of a buying spree here lately. As you know, you said they bought some stuff from Road to Infamy and Mariposa. And then, like a couple days later, they announced, yeah, we bought these stuff from CMON too. So, interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I know it's been forever since I played Blood Rage. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything with Blood Rage, if they make any changes, or if they just straight up reprint it or print. Now, my question with this is, and I don't know, I guess I could just send, I sort of have a relationship with Tabletop Tycoon. I guess I could email my contact and see if I could get an answer. With these games that they bought from CMON, could Tabletop Tycoon, if they wanted to, print some of the Kickstarter-only stuff that CMON offered and release, since technically it wouldn't be CMON that's doing it? Because CMON said it was Kickstarter only, but since CMON wouldn't have anything to do with it, could they technically release some of that stuff?
It probably depends on how the contract is worded.
I'd say I don't know how that would work legally.
Right, because all I say is because sometimes when you buy something, you buy the obligations with it.
That's I would assume that would be the case for this, but I know there was some stuff for like on that I would love to have, but I didn't get into the Kickstarter on it, and it was Kickstarter exclusive. But I'm like, I wonder if they could print some of that stuff now.
Well, one of the problems is that very often Kickstarter exclusive items are for items that they don't expect to sell well.
Right.
If something's not going to exit under today's market, no one is going to print something that they don't expect to sell well, especially in the United States.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with these titles, though.
Yeah. Right. And now, of course, when you're going through that list of things from CMON, there was one game that was glaringly missing from that list. So let's see, what about the fate of that one little game?
Zombicide. It is now under Asmodee. Yep, Asmodee has announced they have bought the right. Or, well, they say acquired the rights. But
Acquired the rights.
They bought the rights to Zombicide from CMON. It includes all of the Zombicide games, but with a little asterisk here as well, the comic book tie-in games, so Marvel Zombies and the upcoming Deceased game from DC, so Marvel and DC, are not part of this deal. CMON remains the sole holder of those rights, and I'm guessing that had to do with the licensing they had for those. They probably couldn't transfer that license over, so CMON is keeping those titles, but all other Zombicide titles are now under the Asmodee umbrella. So, and Asmodee said they are going to operate these games under the Guillotine Games board game label, which Guillotine Games was the one that was making the games with CMON anyway, so there's not that big of a change there. Basically, it just means Asmodee bought Guillotine Games and the Zombicide rights, other than those two. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but you would assume it would be a lot of money, because this is the flagship games for CMON. Asmodee said you will not see any disruption. There are no employee transfers included in the deal, and there are no additional hires that are needed in support of the existing game portfolios. President of Asmodee said. So he did say Asmodee already handles the distribution of CMON games in many regions, and this should be a very smooth transition. They're just now basically taking over that totally, other than just in a couple regions. So it'll be interesting. This is all, of course, during the struggles that CMON is going through. We've talked about them several times with their woes they're having financially wise. So they're trying to get money because they keep saying their outstanding Kickstarters they have, they're still going to deliver. That's yet to be seen.
I think I remember the same thing come from Holy Grail Games.
Yeah, well, that came from a lot of people. So we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, it's kind of exciting news to see what Asmodee does do it. I mean, they don't have a real great track record with stuff they buy. They usually don't handle it well because, it's Asmodee, but we'll see what happens with this.
All right. Then let's experience the world of the Lord of the Rings like never before. The fate of the Fellowship immerses players in Middle-earth. This looks like one of those big, large games, is it?
It's fairly big. I mean, it's not like huge, but this is called Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship. It's made by Matt Leacock, which most people might recognize that name from a little game he created called Pandemic.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have heard of that one. So this is going to be using the Pandemic system. So you're going to be joining forces with your fellow players in a thrilling cooperative strategy game. Every decision is going to matter. Your mission, of course, is to gather your heroes to defend the havens of Middle-earth from the advancing shadow troops. Complete dynamic objectives that will change with every playthrough and help Frodo evade the Nazgul as he journeys to Mount Doom to destroy the One Ring. So think Pandemic set in the world of Lord of the Rings, and that's pretty much what you got. The coolest thing about this, though, is the dice tower that comes with this.
I tried a dice tower in a pandemic game.
Well, they had to make some changes.
Okay.
But yeah.
We're having a pandemic of orcs.
Pandemic of orcs, indeed. So yeah, this is Lord of the Rings pandemic is what it boils down to. And then you'll have to worry about, like, because the Eye of Sauron's always going to be there. Whatever you do, it's going to could change stuff from game to game. So I'm pretty excited about this. This sounds really fun. This is designed for 14 and up, 1 to 5 players. They say average game time about 90 minutes. So not horrible. You can pre-order this now at your friendly local game store. You can also get it on other online retailers as well. It's pretty much everywhere. Summer of 2025. They didn't give an exact date, but my guess
Summer 2025.
My guess is Gen Con or soon after would be my guess.
Right. Okay, because well, then finally you need to gear up, Wastelanders, because Modiphius announces a second edition of Fallout Wasteland Warfare. It sounds like a skirmish game set out in the world of
That is exactly
Fallout.
What it is. Congratulations. Yes. You got it right. That's exactly what. This is a miniature skirmish game set in the world of Fallout. So there you go. Next story. No, this is going to launch in quarter 2 of 2026. It's been 8 years, which I cannot believe it's been 8 years since Fallout Wasteland Warfare came out. The second edition is being built primarily as a solo adventure ward game. So they're changing some of the rules to make it easier to play solo. Imagine exploring a procedurally generated wasteland with the hero from your chosen faction, recruiting a formidable warband, and fighting for survival amidst the myriad of random creatures, mutants, and human enemies that one would expect from the Fallout universe. The fun just doesn't stop there. It's not going to be totally solo, of course. It's going to be fully cooperative as well. You'll be able to temporarily join another player's warband, even embark on a campaign map together with 2 or more players sharing the same warband. So they're changing, like I said, they're updating some of the rules. The big thing is they're trying to make it more solo friendly. I mean, the older version, you can play solo, but there was a couple of the rules that kind of made it hard. There was some weird workarounds for it. So this is, they're thinking solo from the get-go on this.
All right, so
they're also thinking backward compatibility too, so which is good to hear. So it's not like they're going to have 2 competing games. It's like, well, are you playing version 1 or are you playing version 2?
Okay, so it's not going to be like with Ascent where it's completely changed going from version 1 to version 2.
Right, no, it's going to be fully backward compatible. Okay. And the most exciting thing that they said in this press release that I said thank you Jesus about is it's going to use resin miniatures. Thank you. So it's not going to be plastic ones that you have to build anymore. They're going to be resin. So thank you, because the other ones were a pain in the butt to build.
Oh yeah, ones that you have to assemble.
Yep, but they are still going to be the same scale at 32 millimeter, so you'll be able to play with your old ones, or you can get new ones, and I'm sure they'll have updated resin versions of the older ones. I mean, they didn't say that, but that just makes sense to me that they would do that. So yeah, they are listening to fans, so if you have any ideas for them, or if there's anything you want to see, let them know. But yeah, hopefully Modiphius will have a demo or something, or some early builds or something of this that we can see at Gen Con. I'm definitely going to stop by and talk to them, as I always do. I haven't actually set any scheduled up for Gen Con yet. Nobody's really taken meeting schedules yet, but Modiphius definitely on my list, because I want to talk to him about this, and I want to see it if possible.
And that concludes our news for this week. So let's go and find out what our week in gaming is. What have you been up to?
Well, quite a bit, actually, for me. I could say. And it was all Cruising with Drac over on Beaker's channel. So I will link videos in the show notes for this. If you don't know, we do Cruising with Drac most every Friday night. It depends. Some Friday nights I'm out of town for certain things this summer, so but mostly every Friday night. So we did the Attack on Stormreed quest chain, did all that, and we're running all the stuff on Elite. And then we jumped in to Amidst and started to do all of those quests. We only did the first two, the Safehold and Death Hostess Banquet. Once again, we do Everything on Elite. This week, we're going to do my second most hated quest in DDO.
Ooh, second most hated quest in DDO. And what is that?
You should know, because I bitched about it the whole time we were running it.
Yeah, I had a feeling you're going to say that. Yeah. And that's the one with all the musical modes in it.
Yep. That's coming up this week, so yay me, yay us. Can we skip that quest? But yeah,
so it's not quite Crucible level.
No, Crucible's still my most hated quest, but this Song of whatever, however you pronounce that stupid person's song name, is right up there. It's almost taking Crucible's place, to be honest. And that is pretty much my week in gaming. So how about you?
All right. In DDO, my Dragon Disciple was going through the level 11 Ravenloft quests. So, Oath of Vengeance, Raven at the Door, Mad Tea Party, and Sealed in Amber. I also did a couple of quests over in the Sands in order to help with living purposes. And then in other games, I've been playing a bit of Stardew Valley, and also I'm not too sure if you really call it, exactly what you call this. So I put it down as a game, some game/puzzle in there called Replicube, which is essentially a puzzle game based on coding for shaders.
Okay.
That's the.
Okay.
I know that sounds a bit strange, right?
Strange is one word for it, but go on.
Okay, so essentially, it's what you do is they sort of like took an environment that, as if you were an old operating system or something like this, and what you would do is you would write a Lua routine to handle the various voxels that are to be displayed in there, and to decide which you display, what color you display them, and what color you display them. And of course, they have leaderboards and like on the others on who can make the smallest code and who can make the fastest code and things like that. I'd say it's probably a game that only a software engineer could love. Probably.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun to me, but sure, I could see why an engineer would dig it.
But anyway, so I've been playing that, but so that and Stardew Valley plus DDO. And of course, Lotro, because that's always in the background for my other show.
Right.
And we currently have 10 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, you can go to the Nations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would like to just donate without using Patreon, you could send it to Drac. You could email to drac@ddoplayers.com. Gen Con is upcoming. Then we have no sponsors this year, so we could use your help. So if you'd like to help on that, please contact Drac. Anything to add on that?
Nope. Just if you want to help, you can help. I appreciate it. It's expensive.
Now, if you would like to contact us with feedback or the like, you can send the email to podcast@ddoplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have Loach Players News, and we record the DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys choose for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live.
Hey everybody, Future Jack here. Just jumping in. I wanted to give a quick plug to the latest episode we recorded for the Record Players podcast. It is the top 5 video game soundtracks, and we recorded this with Mock Duck's son. So wanted to give a quick shout out to the episode and let you guys know if you're into vinyl and music, especially video game soundtrack music, check it out. It was a special Father's Day episode. Thought it was a good show. Just wanted to make sure I plugged it in here. Links to the episode in the show notes.
That is all for tonight. This is Python News reminding you to quest responsibly.